push to the middle from the left-hand side of your screen.
There's only 2 prizes a team can win in 2013. This is one of them. The NAB Cup Grand Final for 2013. First clearance to the Brisbane Lions. Rockcliffe hammers it to half forward almost, but not quite. Off hands Digan. Murphy an early touch. Betts, who started in the middle. Yaron with some speed. Hampson hands to it. Gibbs an early touch for him as well. Robinson all getting a part of it. White, pocket, edged under the ball legally according to the umpire. Merritt takes it to the line.
Oh, great first lead from Sean Hampson. What I loved was he took both opposition players out. That allowed Gibbs to pick up the loose ball. If you're going to compete, take all the traffic with you.
Cruiser front spot. Hits the deck. Murphy, Simpson, weaves some magic there, got free. Kick not so good. Casbolt under some pressure with Merritt. And got it, Mitch Robinson. Clever.
Yeah, I've really liked the way the umpires have been umpiring through the NAB Cup. Just really protecting the ball there. It's a bit stiff, I think it was Jed Adcock maybe gave the free kick away, but the guy's got his head over the ball. A little bit of a knee to the scon and a free kick. But put your head over the ball, Dermot. I think the umpires have made their intentions pretty clear in this NAB Cup.
Don't think anyone's going to argue with that.
I think where it becomes difficult for players is when the bloke going to the ball quickly turns around.
And the Blues fans are up early.
I think you're right about that, Jace, but I think the thing I like is they actually are setting the scene. So the players should be pretty clear. Maybe in past years it's been a little bit grey. There it gets a bit of a knock there, goes to ground.
See, they were almost coming from the side, but then he turned his body around. So the onus then is on Adcock. He's got to pull up very quickly. He tried, but he just couldn't do it in time. It is difficult on the player coming in.
And I think last year probably wasn't a free kick.
Yep.
But what we're saying now is it is the duty of care of Adcock. Now, whether he could do anything about it is probably debatable, but that's just smart play from Robinson, knowing that he's got his head over the football. He may turn slightly and he gets a free kick and gets a goal.
We'll get to the stage where we see a bloke that can't pull up, just jump straight over the top to avoid
possibly,
Longer and Cruiser go at it again. Betts the clearance. Robinson started well. Who does he want? To the pocket. Hampson will do. Got hands to it. White gathers. Kept it alive. Patful. Karnesis. Got it away just in time. Yo. Crunched by Cruiser. Out of play.
We've seen Eddie Betts in the centre bounce, Dwayne. You called it, and he's had 2 touches already, a significant impact. So that's another bit of a change. We've got Gibbs at half forward, and we've got Eddie Betts in the middle of the ground.
Cruiser doing well in the ruck. Gets his own ball here. Turns it over. Karnesis ducks out of a tackle and dropped it. Holding the ball.
Well, he was a bit stiff. He had no one to give it to, so he had to take them on. He got away with a good first fend, but the ball spilled out as he was attempting to break the second tackle.
Cruiser wonders whether he should bomb it or not. So Casbolt's lead short, longer. Hoping for Hampson again. Betts in the spot. Karnesis wraps him up.
And that's the kick, Derm, we talked about before the game. The Cruiser kick, which pretty much landed exactly where you were standing pre-game.
Gee, he's got a good stretch on him, Hampson, though. He looks dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want to play from behind him. You can't get near the ball.
Cruiser again gets his own ball. Brock McLean a touch.
Well, I think with that game style, Jace, you are banking on that a bit. If you get some tools up there, you can't hit the arms anymore. So if you've got some good extension like Hampson, you're not only get a chance to mark it, you're a chance to get a free kick as well.
Getting plenty of it. Karnesis hacks it clear, makes it somebody else's problem. Probably be coming back. Jamison, Simpson, Cruiser. 4th possession. Gibbs. Some time to spend it. Spends it wisely. Casbolt just can't get there. David King on the boundary.
Well, you can see this is exactly Mick's plan. Get the ball in the forward 50 and lock it in. 11 contested possessions to 3 at the moment. They are just all over the lines. They're doing well to hang in.
It's also 19 possessions to 5, so Brisbane just can't get their hands on the footy at the moment.
Murphy can to Gibbs. Dropped it. Karnesis again a touch. Murphy, Simpson. Spears it, the lead. White, oh, bang! Stephen Martin, body on the line. So too White, and Stephen Martin comes up with it. To the wing, Yaron the fist. Hits the deck, Polkinghorne. Got it away just in time. ball in.
I spoke about Sean Hampson before. The same thing goes with Stephen Martin. If you're a big bloke, use your size, use your bulk, and compete hard. That's a beauty.
I tell you what he did well there, Jace. He really protected himself too. It looked early days. It was going to be tough for Martin then, but he turned his body nicely, Derm, into that contest and protected himself.
Big round of applause. Chris Judd just came on. First run for the year. Hurt a hamstring in February, but on for his first run. God, he's solid there to Buick.
Who starts him on the bench, Dwayne?
Well, maybe they've got enough good players at the moment for Judd to be able to play a little bit of a bit parts role at times, rather than relying on him every minute of the game. Lucas back to Bootsma.
Gee, that was good. See how Lucas had to double take on that one. Had to come out the other side because Brisbane set up ahead of him and forced him to retreat.
Simpson. White through him. Robinson and Yo. Yo got there first, made the commitment, then dumped it. White the handball out. Longer. Maloney.
Oh, it's a shame he didn't look the other way. The switch was on.
Cornelius. Off hands. Tui. Lucas. Jamison. Too hard for McLean to get there.
It was something Mick did, Dwayne, at Collingwood a lot. He'd start Swan on the bench, he'd start Pendlebury on the bench, he'd start Thomas on the bench. So again, that might be another sign of a new coach coming in and just changing things up again.
87% of the time in Carlton's forward half at the moment. They're owning the game. Hanley. Rich. And hacks it on the boot, gets plenty on it. Misses to the near side. And you've got to say, must be 30,000 here. The AFL's decision to play the grand final here right now is justified.
Just must say that last boundary line throw-in was at 3-on-5 in favour of Brisbane. Carlton have to sort that out. They can't be outnumbered like that at boundary line throw-ins.
Judd, pat full. Judd can't keep it alive. Hamstring looked okay there.
Good matchup, and Chris Judd gives him that look of, you're kidding, aren't you? Because he gave him a little push in the back. You reckon he hasn't copped that before?
He would have been tagged pretty much 99% of games he played, I would say, Chris Judd.
I reckon halfway through his very first game of league footy, the opposition coach said, "Who's this kid? You go and play on him, will you?"
Get someone on him. Well, Juddy might send the message back and say, "Can you get someone on me?"
Casbolt. Merritt right with him.
Interesting that Merritt's gone to Casbolt as well. I mean, Merritt normally goes to the gun forward, so they've identified that Casbolt is probably going to be 70% of the time the long bomb target.
Hampson and Cruiser alternating forward, and Maguire picking up whoever is there out of those two.
Maloney, clearance specialist, gets one there. Brown, first touch, Polkinghorne. Green's inside 50. Polkinghorne's ignored him initially. Now he heads to him in the square. Yaron Green, spectacular.
He controlled the area which we call the drop zone. He identified where the ball was dropping to, roughly within, if you imagine, a bin lid size. Just a little right fend off arm as the ball drops back in.
Still takes a lot of skill to mark the ball with one arm like that.
Won a couple of premierships with Clarence. Bigger stage here, and he was equal to it. Lines in front.
Just want to ask you, David King, down on the boundary line. We've seen the divide. It's in favour of Carlton time in forward half. But each time that the Lions have come forward, they've looked genuinely dangerous with space around their individual forwards, room to move into, and quick penetration.
Well, that was the Sydney Swans plan of late 2012, wasn't it? Absorb the punishment in the back end and hold up and maintain your structures and see if you can counter punch over the back. And I think if they can get Chris Yaron deep to that goal square at the defensive end, they can have some scoreboard fun.
I think it's a good point, King. I think a lot of teams, we've seen Yaron rebound already tonight, and he did a fantastic job last year. I think what teams will try and do is get him back to the last line. It was a beautiful kick, but he's still not a great one-on-one defender. He will learn that, but at the moment, teams will try and get him back to the goal square.
Maloney, another clearance. That's why they got him to the lines. It's proving a good purchase at this stage. Yaron. Simpson. Digan. Bootsma. Carazzo's going to have to go here. Yo with him.
Well, I think they'd be elated with the scoreboard, the Brisbane Lions. They were dominated for the first 10 or 15 minutes, but it hasn't been heard on the scoreboard. They've still had more than double the possessions, Carlton, over the Brisbane Lions, 42-19.
I think Dermot hit it on the head. At the moment, the Lions look so much more dangerous going forward of centre.
Bouncing ball to half forward. Cornelius ridden.
This will be interesting to see how Aaron Cornelius goes tonight. He got shut out in the second half last week. Seriously talented player. Now he's got the third string backman on him, and he should be able to go all right against him.
Gee, that was a good kick. Probably should have taken it, Brownie.
He marks those 9 times out of 10, and they'll get a shot at goal regardless. Zorko with the tackle, and it was just inside 50 the tackle, so even if he kicks it from outside, it'll only be for 6.
We have to make mention to our viewers, the AFL umpiring department is red hot this season on anyone who takes the ball. If you tackle them from behind and fall forward in any way, shape or manner, you're going to get done for in the back.
Look at that.
That's a spear from Dane Zorko. They're on the lines.
You know, look, he must be doing some extraordinary things up there, Dane Zorko, because we know there's been a lot of publicity about him. We're starting to learn more. But to be elevated to the leadership group this year means that there must be some serious respect with which he's held by his teammates, because he's burst onto the scene in a short space of time. He's having an impact, whether it be in an attacking mode or in a defensive mode like that. And when you finish in that sort of style, gee, you're going to endear yourself to your teammates very quickly.
Yeah, and the tackle will too, Jason. There's no question. Just Kane Lucas probably just a little bit off the pace. Would have liked to deliver that a little bit earlier, Dermot. But that kick, that was a beautiful kick for goal. Never in doubt once it hit the boot.
Full-length quarters for the grand final. So 20 minutes plus time on as per the home and away season. Arnfield attacked it, left it behind. Green. Rich.
That's great.
Martin.
They're on.
Space again.
Zorko again. Danced his way around and pass to McGrath.
That is, when you come from the goal square, Jason, you love seeing 30 metres clear in front of you and a player breaking some 70, 80 metres out. There has never been a better setup for a full forward line player.
It's unusual that you see such an open channel like that these days.
Absolutely. Didn't kick that well pre-match. I was watching the boys. Let's put a bit of luck on his side here.
You nozzed him.
I didn't noz him. That's how he was kicking before the game.
He has had the ability, McGrath, to go forward and kick
Kicked
goals.
high, yeah. Kick bags off.
There was a shocking action then.
But again, it's noticeable that the Lions boys going forward are lowering their eyes and looking for the leading target.
The big barrel.
Yeah, whereas Carlton going forward seem to be content to sit it on someone's head. So it is a bit of a different game style at the moment between the two sides.
Rich on the left. Gets plenty on it.
He's
inspiring stuff from the Lions.
You know, we are seeing with incredible regularity the big torpedo being used as the kick out. Now, he didn't quite get under on that occasion. It only just got inside the centre square. You really need to be landing him closer to the centre circle if you go with it, because as soon as that's turned over, look where the ball is. Dangerous position. And if you get it in the right person's hands, it's a spectacular kick across his body from 50.
That is a weapon. That left foot should be licensed. The thing is with that torpedo kick out, it has to clear the pack of players. When it gets out the back, then you're away and running. But if it hits the pack and drops forward, you're in all...
Well, it can't be thumped back 20 metres, that's for sure, because all the Blues players are crummers going to the front of the pack. It goes over their heads, and that's a disaster, as we've seen for Carlton.
Flick back, almost worked. Walker couldn't break free with it. Umpire waiting on this pack, and he wants ball, and he pays ball.
What chance you got of getting it out when you've got two blokes lying on top of you?
I think they both had it, so anyway.
Brisbane Lions have laid 7 tackles to Carlton's 3 at this point in time. So Carlton's kicking efficiency, disposals down to 44%. So 7 isn't a huge number, but it's enough to put inferred pressure on them all the time around the ball.
Hatful. Hoping for Jonathan Brown. Couple to beat. And the big fist from the ex-Brisbane line. Lockie Henderson puts it out of play.
You know, they look like they couldn't get near the footy in the first 10 minutes. They've settled very quickly, and they're now almost playing the game on their terms, Brisbane.
Patrick Karnesis is getting it all his own way. He gets to sit out in the middle of the ground by himself and
tied up between Jamison and Brown. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and the ball up. David King.
Just notice they're dragging Chris Yarran back to the goal square as often as they can. McGrath, it's been Green at times. They're just taking him back where he's not comfortable and where he can do the least damage in an offensive sense from the half-back flank. So big concerns, I think, for Mick Malthouse there.
And they've got to keep doing that, Kingy. They've just got to be disciplined, the Lions boys. Whoever Yarran goes to, they've got to go back to the goal square, and it's going to be a bit of a dance as we go through the night. And if Lions are disciplined, they'll keep him back there and they'll keep him out of the way, and we can see it happening again. Here it is. And he's going back to the goal square. This time I think it's Green he's got. And that'll happen pretty much most of the night for him.
Maloney gets himself another clearance. Buick can't keep it alive. Wearing Michael Voss's old number 3, so he'd want to be doing quite well in it. He's been a good pickup. Came to the club as a free agent, and here he is again on cue, but can't get the clearance.
See what? There's also a very interesting matchup on Aaron Cornelius. Young Josh Bootsman's got the gig. Now, Cornelius is terrific in the air, and I'm not sure.
I reckon he's just got coverage on him at the moment. I think
He's been on him a couple of times.
I think Simpson's the one who's meant to be minding him, and he's got plenty of the ball, Simpson, but he's just running off. And gee, Karnesis he's probably only had it 3 or 4 times. We have a look here.
I was talking about Cornelius.
Oh, Cornelius.
Okay,
yes, yeah, he is.
He's a marking target.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. We talked about him earlier. Karnesis worries me. He's just running up and down the spine, coming in the back of this hit out here. He's getting to run in positions by himself. He hasn't been used yet, but see how he's just sneaking out the back door here?
Obviously, he has a good tank because he started as a key position. They tried him at both ends, and he's now spending time in the midfield.
Well, the biggest thing, as we saw on the screen there, is the last 10 minutes, it's about 8-0 inside 50s, and the time in forward 50s changed dramatically. Yep. So at the moment, full credit to the Lions. That's the first inside 50 for 10 minutes for Carlton, so they've significantly changed the flow of this game.
Well, that's that kick you also said Mick wouldn't like because it was a long kick that only got to about 45 metres. He wants it deep inside the attacking 50.
Jonathan Brown, uncharacteristic fumble. Adcock kick smothered, and because of the fumble, Carlton away with spare men. Robinson, Judd.
It's only got one man ahead to kick to.
It's Walker, one-on-one. Dragged it down, and Maguire might be content to see this out.
And I think with Merritt, if he could pick a game style, Jace, to play against, it would be Carlton's game style, because he's so good as a one-on-one defender. And at the moment, they just get nothing out of those forward 50 entries.
There's your boy Dermott, again on cue.
Rockcliffe couldn't grab it. Gets it from Polkinghorne.
Daniel Merritt reminds you one of those cushion things you drape over the side of ship's edges. I reckon he should run out with a couple of them, because every contest he goes to, he just buffets into the opposition like a big buffet up against the pier, and then he comes to the contest.
And he's got some serious speed as well, so he's a very, very hard player to play against.
White in the middle of 2, couldn't beat them both handling. Adcock, co-captain this year. Maguire. And now Merritt needs to go and chase this. It'll go out. No. Not a lot to go to now. Realises it. Buick.
That's a good run, Zorko.
Great hit.
And turned him inside out. Zorko kept going. Heads to Green in the pocket. Yarran's with him. He'll feed back onto this. Tui needs to rush it. Got there.
Have a look at Zach Tui in the rooms, Roosie. He's a big kid, isn't he?
He is a big fella too, yeah. Him and Casbolt, they've got some bigs up there. There's no question about that. It's going to be an interesting night for Yarran as we see him pick up the ball here. Great battle of wits between Yarran and the opposition forwards, who are trying to drag him back, and he's trying to get up the ground. He got it then, but we'll see Green working back to the goal square.
Gee, that was brilliant from Maguire. Yeah. How good. Left his man and made the contest. Saved Brisbane a goal.
It's a very high standard game right now. Awesome game to watch. Tui's ball.
So that's Zach Tui. He plays on the small guys. He's listed at 187 centimetres and 91 kilos. And for a bloke playing on quick back pocket type players, that's a good sized body. So got hands in the back, just tried to shove him out of the way of it.
Cruiser from 4 deep. Paddle it down. Handley, slick hands. Maguire. McGrath just jumped into Tui. Umpire didn't like the contact. Murphy with advantage. He's got Casbolt on the move. Put it over his head. Easy pluck, Merritt.
Well judged too.
He didn't give him any chance, so did it. Just a bit of a floater. Murphy's normally a very, very good.
Just look like they've lost their overlap run in the midfield here, Roosie. They just look like they're bombing it long to their top of 50 instead of overlapping like they were in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes that predictability can be difficult. As silly as it sounds, it can be difficult to adjust to because you tend to just get the ball out of your area and then you tend not to run. And I'm sure Mick, there'd be some discussion now about just getting his players to lower his eyes a bit. I mean, that last one with Murphy coming through, he should have really hit, I think it was Casbolt on the lead.
Rockcliffe to Rich.
Oh, great movement on the footy. Opened him up.
Martin back to Rich, who can bang a long ball. Jonathan Brown. Jamison Brown. Brown!
That's a quality mark. A genuine quality mark.
But Jace, once again, you can see the difference in the kicks. Even though that was a kick to advantage, so it actually gave Brown an opportunity. You don't mind those kicks as a forward coming in, whereas at the other end they tend to be sort of lobbed on the noggin.
Yep.
But it's easier for the defender to come over.
Just looked like he had a good. He actually jumped way too early, Jamison.
I thought he had a good run at it.
Yeah, just poor timing.
He's good, just set Brownie off here. He didn't have a great one by his standards last week.
That's a nerve settler. And the Brisbane Lions are getting out to a handy break. 21 points.
The thing I'm noticing the most from me, Kingy, you touched on it, the ball usage coming through the middle. So we look at Big Jonathan on screen there, is the ineffectiveness of Yaron coming through that true half back line with speed and pace and pinpointing the ball. Every time we look at that end of the ground in a slack moment, Yaron's getting dragged to the goal square. Good double grab by Big Jonathan Brown.
But they're obviously happy to have Yaron play there because they're going to rotate another player if they wanted to.
Well, I think the thing is, Jace, with Gibbs at the other end of the ground, who's normally another distributor and a half back, you can probably afford to have Yaron dragged back to the goal square from a Carlton perspective. But without Gibbs there, it makes it a lot more difficult.
You're down two.
You're down two, exactly.
Rich to Hanley to half forward. We saw Jonathan Brown having a rest.
Oh!
With the crumb. Oh, get out of here!
That is a handy goal.
You talk about timing. How well did he strike that? He roved it, and then he found himself with the perfect angle, and he just let it go.
Yeah, well, that's everything you love about that sort of crumbing. Watch it here. Some great vision here. Good. Have a look at that. I mean, that's just locked right in the belly, and the finish too, running away from the goals. There it is. There, great take
On that angle,
yeah,
you actually have to aim on the point side of the nearest goalpost. You cannot aim at the goals. You have to be brave enough to aim further to the right of the goals.
And he just felt comfortable at the angle he was at.
Yep.
And it worked out beautifully. He's got some serious issues right at the moment, Mick Malthouse, Rosie.
Yeah, no, he definitely has. And again, this is probably part of the teething problem that he's talked about. He's been pretty honest that he hasn't been altogether happy with some of the parts of the game. I mean, it is a stark contrast to perhaps the way they've been playing. So it will take some time. But at the moment,
Gibbs to the wing.
They're getting cut up.
If you remember, Carlton had the first 4 inside 50s. Since then, it's been 13-2 in favour of Brisbane.
Gibbs has gone up to the wing now, so he's vacated the forward post. Looking for some of that skill usage they've been a bit shy on so far.
They've done this well. Every time they've changed direction, they've found loose players.
Kicked the last 5 goals of the game, the Brisbane Lions. It's a good mark.
Well, Jason, you talked about it's 21 marks to 6, so it illustrates the different game style between the two sides.
Hampson and White crash the pack. Eddie Betts, position 1A for the crumb. Kicks toward goal. Oh, anything you can do, I can do better. Eddie.
That is a cracker.
And that's the dilemma when you put an Eddie Betts in the centre square, Dermot, because he's actually quite effective early in the game. But here he is, the most effective player when he's in the forward 50, He can pick it up. I'm not sure where his direct opponent was. I think he might have gone to ground there, but that's hard. I mean, you are trying to get him in the game. I think it's released from him his defender and went to the contest, and I wouldn't be doing that on any bets.
The one thing I'd say about that, I remember where we showed on the pre-game where the dots were where the kick went to. That's perfectly in that area. It got dropped steeply on Hampson's head. You can't have a play. They're not going to kick 14 goals like that. Yeah, no. Hampson ran back and he got to that spot. A clever forward would have double-led and come back out and marked at 40, 45 out from goal.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing. Golby, I think it was playing on bets. You got to learn. He's a young player. You got to learn. You can't leave bets. You got to rely on your key defenders to make the spoil, and you got to stay down on the ground.
Gee, they're happy to play Boost Matall because he's picking up Billy Longer at the moment.
Yeah.
Hanley heads a little too wide for everyone bar the boundary umpire.
Simpson's kick.
This will be interesting now because Brisbane have been very good at shutting them in. Now they're leaving a big void straight down the line here, close to the boundary, inviting them to kick to this spot, and everyone else inside is man on man. He's got to play the safety here, so otherwise it's too risky.
Cruz at the target. Merritt. Long as inside 50, lurking, got a hand on it. White. Cruiser. Hampson edged out of that.
That's a tunnel.
Yeah, free kick. Yeah.
Well spotted umpire, and that's 50.
Oh, 50. He can elect to have the shot from outside 50 for 9 or take it from inside 50 for 6.
I think he'll go inside.
Wasn't that smart from Daniel Merritt, though, was it? It looked like an obvious free kick and not that smart.
Well, could have not been. There was no other infringement. There was no other mark, so he couldn't have.
I wouldn't have thought so. I think it's a smart, not very smart from him. Here it is.
This is for 9 now. Bryce Gibbs.
That's a big
wise choice. That's a monster.
Gee, that's going to be disappointing from Michael Voss's perspective. We actually saw Adelaide do it against Carlton when Taylor Walker ran around the back, got a hand pass, kicked an easy goal from outside 50 because the players around weren't paying attention. Plenty of time here. We can see the build-up. This is the free kick paid against Maguire, but it didn't look as bad as some from that angle. But
could never be anything else but the
only thing I can think of is maybe didn't hear the whistle, but yeah, that's again that wouldn't be pleasing Michael Voss because he's left him by himself completely. So but it's a good little comeback from the Blues.
The other thing is, if Gibbs doesn't go to the midfield, they don't kick that 9-pointer. He's already inside 50 and can't cruise past for the 9-pointer.
Half a dozen Sherrans to Plimpton for that NAB Supergirl. Maloney with another clearance.
He's best on so far.
Stephen Martin up high. Yaron read it. Henderson. Adcock with the fists.
Brent Maloney. What are we at? We're at 27 and a bit minute mark. He's had 5 clearances already.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, he's the one that's dominating the middle because they're winning the centre breaks 8-1, Brisbane, and you wouldn't have expected that against a pretty heralded Carlton midfield, would you?
Zorko pumps that. Jonathan Brown caught behind. Ball in. It's okay for Brisbane.
You know, you're thinking Murphy, Judd, Simpson, Carazzo, these sort of blokes. Yeah, they're getting touched up in the middle.
They've been very good through the middle. There's no question about that. And we just saw Juddy there. Just a little fumble from Chris Judd. We won't see that in 2 or 3 weeks' time. But you can just see even the great players coming back, Jace, take a little bit of time to get used to the tempo of AFL football. But that certainly won't be happening next week or the week after. And you can see the clearances there, 18-8 in favour of the Brisbane Lions.
Murphy. Robinson. A twist and turn from Lucas. Yaron. Armfield. OK, they're away. Bryce Gibbs. Walker inside 50. Merritt. Big fist. Adcock. Read it well.
That suits Brisbane all day, that entry.
Yeah, they just need to figure that out because I'm sure Mick, there's a fine line between that kick to advantage that Brisbane have been doing really well and the bomb just on the top of someone's head with Daniel Merritt coming over the top every time.
Simpson, Bootsma and Armfield combined, but Merritt should gobble this up again.
He's having a field day down the back, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, that's a thoughtless kick. Short kicks, 21 to 9 in favour of Brisbane. So they're actually sharing the ball a little bit better, make it 22.
But I think this is what tends to happen with a new coach. You do tend to overcorrect a bit, so it's not surprising. So obviously what Mick's trying to say, that we want to get it in long, but he doesn't mean that every single time. But you do find an overcorrection when a new coach comes to a club, and that's why those long kick, sort of short kick numbers are pretty high for the Carlton Footy Club.
Rockcliffe, Maloney, elected to keep that in, and it works in his favour. Flicks it up nicely to Buick.
Super.
Oh, we don't want it.
Just up the way by Jamison.
Yeah, it was a good spoil from Jamison. It was a ripping kick, but just got a hand in there, Jamison. Really important player for Carlton.
Stolen back by Martin to Rockcliffe. This is for 9. Didn't strike it well enough. Cornelius dumped away from him. Ball out of play.
Just a couple more pre-seasons in the gym. Aaron Cornelius has been around for a while, but a couple of more seasons and he'd been able to hold that ground.
5th season for Cornelius, so he's taken a while to be the overnight sensation he's become. Judd, Simpson, Hampson held. So the last chance of the score will be the Carlton here. Walker, will he go the big jump? He stays down, and Adcock was the jumper.
And another blaze away. Yeah, Simpson's normally one of those good decision makers in the Carlton team, but then again, just getting it and kicking it long and being outmarked again in their forward 50.
Longer. He fell into that pack. Arnfield, dying seconds. Probably not time enough for a clearance and a mark from this. 4 seconds left. Been a great battle. High standard contest. Perfect for an NAB Cup Grand Final.
Gee,
Carlton kicked the first goal. Brisbane kicked 5 goals in a row. And the Blues have hit back with the last 2 of the quarter.
I'm just staggering at how good Maloney is at getting close to the belly, to the navel of the ruckman, getting in so close, and the reactionary time where he's able to get hands on the quickly dropping football. It's phenomenal. It's a God-given ability.
Footballers play for the big stage moments. This is one of them. 30,000 plus crowd here at Etihad Stadium. Quarter time, Lions by 12. Lions by 12. Second term underway. Longer and Cruiser. Judd starting in the middle after starting the first term on the bench. Secondary ball up.
Cade Simpson's an interesting one as well. He's had 11 disposals, but out of his 8 kicks, his kicking efficiency is 38%. And you would say that he'd be one of the better kicks in the Carlton football team.
Jamison had it but lost it. Brown likewise. Good enough to get away with it, but hands it back to Bryce Gibbs. Patfull in front of Walker.
Gee, that was good work. Good body position by Patfull.
Best and fairest winner last year. Really has grown as a player. Longer.
Look at the switch here.
Carnesis.
And then you've got Polkinghorne in the 50.
So Polkinghorne can mark and go. Duggan tries to shut him down. Big bomb to the square. Jonathan Browner. Can't mark it. Green played for the high free. Brown gets it on the boot. And a ball in.
It's a big contest, the Patfull Walker one on a half-back flank chase, because you called it. I mean, as soon as Patfull marked it, the Brisbane Lions were out the other side. Carlton just can't afford to get out-marked. They've got to bring the ball to ground and give their other players a chance, their small, crumbing players a chance.
Oh, is that nearly falling on top of him? Tough position. Now he's going to get pinged the other way.
It's a big call from the umpire there.
Yeah, I've been surprised by the number of times already in this match. We saw it 3 or 4 times in the first quarter, but Brisbane have exposed Carlton with the change of direction, switching it to the far side of the ground where they've found open numbers.
Yaron hits in the Hampson direction. Longer, arms free to Rich. Maguire. She got plenty on that. That's long. Brown, we could have let that go for 9.
Yeah, I think he could have too.
Yeah.
He probably didn't know. It's hard. I mean, you, Jace, as a full forward, it's hard to know exactly where you are. But I reckon he probably could have let that go and would have gone through for a 9-pointer.
Robinson.
If you're not sure, you've got to go for that.
Job. Hampson up.
That's the one where you've got virtually no chance of spoiling. If he has a run and jump at it.
Gibbs has got Walker inside 50. Ignores him first. Goes to Casbolt. And too good.
No body contact from Merritt before the ball arrived. He tried to out-jump him with the spoil then, which is a rarity for Merritt. He does like that little bumper bar contact before going for the ball.
I wonder if he mistimed his jump again, because he looked like he had a run and jump, and he goes up with that big left fist, which is normally good. He's on the way down again.
Yeah.
Just went a little bit too early.
Which hasn't happened so far in the game. So, but they need to clunk a few like that. Certainly the way they're playing the game style, they need to mark, as Casbolt has just done.
6 games in his debut season. Did kick a little inaccurately last year with 7-12, but that was never in doubt.
The fascinating thing was the kick from Gibbs. I'm not sure we get it from behind the goals, but actually Gibbs had Walker leading on the fat side. Here it is here.
Yeah.
Great vision. He's had Walker leading on the fat side of the ground, which probably last year that kick would have gone straight to Walker. Instead, he's steadied up, Jason, gone for the bomb to the tall.
I reckon it was a good choice, though, because Walker was one out, and if he doesn't mark it, there's a lot of open grass in front where Brisbane can rebound.
It was a bit unfair of our director after that helicopter kick a goal to put the camera on Stephen Kernahan in the crowd, one of the greats of all time.
He could kick a float of sticks.
And he did kick a few goals, though.
Absolutely, one of the greats.
One of the greats, absolutely. But you're right. Probably not a bad kick, but I think last year just showing the discipline of the Carlton players and what they're trying to do this year.
Lucas to half forward. Eddie Betts got the skates on. What about that for a pick and give? Robinson threw it away. Still alive. Golby. Patfull. Rockcliffe. Hanley.
Oh,
On the floor
boy.
from the Irishman.
Well, he just didn't think his way through. They had 2-on-1. He had a teammate shepherding for him, and in the end he thought, I'll get this out of the range, but that's a terrible kick on the left foot.
Big lift from Hampson. Jard kept it into Carazzo. Clever. Could go for goal from there. Centering kick. Casbolt again. Thumb clear, but it'll be coming back. Dygan from just on the paint. It's only 6, but they'll take it.
You can just see the slightest bit of fatigues coming into some of the Brisbane Lions players now as they strive to try and turn the ball to the outside, the other areas of the ground, or make a quick switch. It's just not with as much zip and pace now. Just a little bit of bottling it in and professionalism from Carlton, just starting to creep into it.
He was a bit unlucky, Maloney. I mean, he had no other option. He just tried to fist the ball out. But there's an inherent risk when you just punch the ball along the ground in the middle of the corridor towards the 50-metre arc. If it goes to the wrong person, you're going to get punished.
I like the old theory, take it in your hands, at least force them to make a positive action and tackle it off you.
We understand Mick blew out a few cobwebs at quarter time. Show you some vision of that shortly, but the response has come. Yo couldn't take it. Gibbs does. Takes it, goes, gives to Betts.
He's the one, isn't he, Bryce Gibbs, that's really been pivotal for Carlton, and whether it's using the ball or kicking the 9-pointer late in that first term. Here's another 9.
Eddie to Tui. Oh, he strikes it well. Magnificent. Blues are back in front.
Well, Michael Voss would be, you're talking about Mick Malthouse blowing some cobwebs out at all the time. That's the second 9-pointer in very, very similar circumstances, Jason.
Rizzy, what's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. But Bryce Gibbs, you touched on it, really good. And this is a really smart kick. Just one of the few times they've lowered their eyes going forward to Eddie Betts. But this is what Bossy would be absolutely filthy about. Just another 9-pointer.
No awareness.
Yeah, that's really poor from the Lions players.
But if you look at 18 possessions so far for 3 goals, they're getting a goal every 6 possessions. Their kicking efficiency in this second quarter, Gibbs, Judd, Carazzo, Murphy, they're all at 100%.
Some footies heading overseas. Does it include shipping as well? The little pack of balls that goes over.
County Leash.
Is it Leash? Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, what you? Would you want to call it something else?
Oh, what was it? LAOIS or something?
What will they do with the Sherrans over there?
County Leash.
What will they do with the Sherrans?
Play Gaelic footy with them?
It's a good grab, Henderson. Might entice a few more to come to Australia, perhaps.
Maybe they'll buy. I think they're O'Neill's, aren't they? O'Neill's, the round balls they play with. Maybe
And we're less than 48 hours away from St. Paddy's Day as well.
Longer through his grasp. Yo. Walker right with him. Seeks the sanctuary.
It's been a super efficient quarter, Derm. It's 3 inside 50s, and that's it for Carlton. And the inside 50 count is still pretty lopsided to Brisbane Lions. So now it's time for the Lions to respond, as they did after the first 5 minutes. Similar pattern, first 5 minutes, first quarter. The Blues were all over the Lions, and then the Lions came back.
Gibbs in a mad scramble. Umpire protecting the ball.
He's
there.
Started on the wing on Daniel Rich. Now, Rich is off having a spell. I don't know who's responsible for Bryce Gibbs, but they want to get near him.
Murphy. Cruz is going to have to get there. Judd at the back. Thumb clear. Through for a behind. 9-point lead. Biggest lead of the game for the Blues. They kicked the opening goal of the game. The lead by 6, but 9. Their biggest margin. If you joined us late, Brisbane did lead by 27 points late in the opening term.
I reckon he's an underrated player everywhere except up in Brisbane, Joel Padfield.
Yeah, it was a great fish. Looked like Juddy was going to mark that, didn't it? And the best and fairest winner from last year.
Let's have a look at Mick Malthouse at quarter time here.
I don't want to be the bloke that he's looking at there, because I reckon one bloke was copping the brunt of that.
Certainly have responded. Lucas is knocked away. Polkinghorne threw that away. Gibbs couldn't pick it. It's slippery. Half the crowd want ball there. Gibbs gets it free and is dumped into the turf. Won himself a free plant advantage. Lucas to Walker. Manhandled, gets a free. Will have a shot.
Yeah, I think it was that Polkinghorne you called Blaine to the middle of the ground. It was made a meal of that.
Yeah.
It was a real scoring opportunity.
Well, he's been frustrated, Andrew Walker. This is his first touch for the night. So he'll be pretty happy if he can slot this one through. Struggled to get into the contest.
Yeah, that's a free ball from Walker. Probably would have marked it anyway if he hadn't grabbed him, but...
Elliot Yeo standing on the mark. He's had a couple of good weeks.
He's been good, yeah.
For a 15-point margin, it's coming. Misses.
26 possessions to 19, so following from the first quarter, the dominance early of Carlton, and Brisbane started to come back. So it'll be interesting to see if Brisbane can do that again. Another long kick down the middle of the ground, which has been a bit of a pattern.
Trouble.
Gone. Cruz, a splendid tackle. Plant advantage. Murphy wide the handball. Now wants the goal and misses.
Tell you what, he ran more than 15 metres too. He picked it just up outside the 50. He's run a good 20 metres with the ball without bouncing it, Mark Murphy.
Sleight of hand was good though to get around him.
Golby. Maguire.
Worst thing that Brisbane can do now is panic. When they were faced with this for about 3 or 4 minutes in the first quarter when Carlton were able to lock it in. Don't panic, work your way through it, and they can impact the scoreboard at the other end.
There's Polkinghorne again. It's better to Martin. Carnesis. And puts the Jets on. Bounce, can size them up from 45. Terrible.
Yeah, he just didn't steady. He probably fatigued right
Still
on
running
the
too quickly.
Yep.
Kicked it with his shin.
Yeah, you're right. There's an art to that, isn't it? You're running quickly, then you got to steady. And he didn't really take that last 2 or 3 steps to steady and slow down and have a shot at goal.
Gee, good contest between Hanley and Armfield, didn't they? Put their bodies in. Oh, he's pointed the wrong way.
Oh.
You got to hold that up then, don't you? I mean, all the Brisbane guys went the other way.
Merritt.
Good grab. Nice mate.
The Lions kicked 5 goals in a row in the opening turn. The Blues have responded with the last 5 of the game.
We saw Merritt get called play on very quickly there. If you look like moving off your line, they call play on now. They're red hot on it.
Martin caught by Bootsma. Casbolt.
Another one that's joined the club there, Joel Padfield. Just shaved it all off up top, getting a little bit thin. Welcome to the club.
Gibbs leading the possession getters in this term. Carnesis, Polkinghorne, that's better. Adcock. See if the co-captain can find a target inside 50.
What a great kick.
Jonathan Brown turned inside out, had to grab Jamison.
It wasn't a great kick.
Yeah, they've had a couple of chances, haven't they, the line? Once again, that bounce through the middle, the ball's just not coming up. So they've got to really rethink that when they're running with the football. The lines are either pounded onto the ground so it comes straight back up, but a couple of times they've come through the middle and the bounce has really hurt them, and the kicks going forward have been pretty ordinary.
Casbolt.
This has been the problem here, Roosie. This kick here has been picked off by the Lions all night. 8 intercept marks they've taken to Carlton's 3. That problem diffused out of bounds, but that last kick there needs to go either to a shorter teammate or over the back.
It's that last free to...
You've got a handful of jumper there, Brownie, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you never like seeing the forward get pinged.
Redden to Rich, turned in the tackle, and good enough to go back and get it again. Maloney.
Strong over the footy.
Polkinghorne. Carazzo. Maloney tried to push off. Didn't get away with it. McLean. Simpson. Time to spend it, and spends it very wisely. Walker on the run. Will he think of 9? Goes to Hampson. Goal square. Merritt again. Long reach. Just got his arm in the way, and Yo drags it through.
That's a terrific sport.
You wonder why you'd ever experiment playing Daniel Merritt forward. He's too good a player at what he does, and that's spoiling and mopping things up down at that end.
That's what Pickers said last year, and he got kick 4 in the first quarter. He just gets the buffet on here, bang, but he doesn't recoil too far away, which leaves him in the contest. He's such a powerful, sturdy body, he can absorb that type of punishment.
Never we heard Michael Voss talking about the desperation that he showed last week. That's the same sort of stuff there.
Bootsma to Gibbs.
Rich is down behind play still.
Bounce pass to Robinson. Casbolt was down there. Merritt's fist wins out again. Danger area though. White dragged off it. Maloney shouldn't have given that to Patfield. Gone, surely. Eddie Betts looks up. Bodies aplenty. Casbolt spent that before it earned it. Yo, no time to spend it. Carazzo dives in, flicks it out. Carnesis. Simpson goes just as hard, wraps it up.
Carnesis was unlucky in this new ruling there not to get the free kick for cannoning into his leg.
I agree with that, Dermot. I'd like to see it again, but it did look like he went low into the legs.
It looked like half dangerous.
Betts played for the free. Patfield knocked to Murphy. Tries the centering ball and didn't go out according to the umpire. Murphy back again. Robinson.
Isn't it amazing? You've got 35,000 people here, and yet you can still, because of the desperation, you can still hear the players' voices rise above the crowd's noise, yelling, Eddie, Eddie.
Carnesis. Polkinghorne. Wobbly ball. Flicked down in the end by Tui, and legally, Bootsma.
Was it legally, Dwayne? I'm not
Jamison
sure.
going with the umpire's call. Simpson looks up. He might want the 9. Strikes it okay. Casbolt out of position. Patfield pats it.
Oh,
Heads toward the boundary. The umpire's got to say deliberate there. No choice.
Jordan says, it's coming back.
We all know that's probably the intention, but when you're running flat out in that direction with a bloke on your right, what are you supposed to do?
My belief is if you kick the ball more than 50 metres,
should be okay.
Yeah, the other team should have somebody there rather than squeeze up on you all the time.
Carazzo. Mitch Robinson has to go, and there he is again, Merritt.
He's dominating down back.
And he
sledged him. And sledged Robinson.
Gave it to him on the way past.
They've got an overlap here.
So Maloney needs to get to Golby quickly. Golby wants it. Being shut down by Simpson.
Good spot.
Rockcliffe. Martin. And now Patfull, no, he ignores him. To Adcock instead, straight down the middle. Buick pushed off it, good mark, Gibbs. No, the push was paid.
Oh, that was paid by the umpire stationed in the forward 50 who had a behind view or a rear view because the central umpire was going to pay the mark to Gibbs.
And he hands it off to Golby for the 9. Gets
floater.
under it a little. It's a floating ball off Green's hands. Yaron. Green right with him. McGrath turns toward the line. Hands back to Green. Will he bend this around? He does. And it is simply amazing. This game lifts every time someone kicks a goal.
Look, I'm dying to see that contest between Buick and Gibbs at centre-half forward. Does he put a hand in the back? It's more a hand on the side, forearm in the back. But then again, you can still offend if you push too far. They got the benefit of the second umpire's decision. Have a look at this for a goal, though. McGrath keeps it alive well. And then I thought you'd centre it from there, but he just pinned the ears back and said, I can kick a banana on the run.
He didn't ever look like centering it then, did he? He wasn't even looking inside the corridor.
Not happy.
He had the blinkers on. Ah, well done. Nail it like that. Look at that clearance. 15-25 favour of Brisbane.
Been an outstanding contest right from the get-go. Eddie Betts. Daniel Rich hammers it. Chaos ball. Henderson read it okay. Thumps it back in the Adcock direction. Murphy right with Adcock. Lucas to 2-on-2. Full floated from Lucas. Out of play.
I actually think, Jace, that maybe Gibbs has gone to Rich because I'm noticing now Gibbs is on a half-back flank and Rich is now pushed up the ground. So we talked earlier on about Rich's good first quarter and then Gibbs' good start to this quarter. So it looks like Gibbs has gone back to half-back, but Rich is playing as a half-forward. We can see Rich at the stoppage there and he's come right up the ground. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on that matchup because both players have been really dangerous tonight.
That's a tough one as a coach weighing that matchup up, isn't it? You sit there and say, well, who's ahead? Because you want to keep going with it if it's working for you, but it's line ball when they're both getting so much of it. Does someone blink?
Yeah, and you can see Gibbs coming across to the contest now. Rich is just inside the corridor, so they're playing a little bit Russian roulette at the moment.
Gee, that was wonderful athleticism by Stefan.
You just, the more I see him, the more I think he should be a better player than what we've seen from him thus far with all the athletic ability he's got.
Keep saying it, yeah.
Carazzo caught. McGrath stole it. Zorko got his arms free. Rich could be a free, just turned last second. Zorko again.
You know what? Rich turned himself. Had he stayed straight, that's a free kick.
Polkinghorne to the square, thumped through by Henderson.
Gee, it's lived up to anything you could have hoped for in this contest, I reckon.
Very much so. And high intensity. Both teams having a real red-hot crack.
Voices you're hearing, our experts, 24 premierships between them. Paul Roos, Sydney Premiership coach. Jason Dunstall, 4-day, 5-night. Dermot Brereton, 5-day, 5-night. And David King, 2-day, 2-night premierships.
That means you get, right?
2 grand final, night grand finals for me, Derm, but no winning ones, unfortunately. I think you beat us one year. One of your 5. Cats didn't have a lot of luck when I was there.
He's pointing the wrong way.
They're
going the wrong way. That was ridiculous. Billy Longer was facing the wrong way when he got given the free kick, and then he was going to kick it the wrong way until someone said turn around.
Well, that's not the umpire's fault.
Look at the Voxy.
Mate, that was hilarious, but the umpire was signalling it back that way as though he was going the other way.
So why did the umpire confuse Longer and make Longer think he was actually going the other way?
Not hard to confuse big blokes, mate.
My goodness.
Talk him into it.
He sold him up the river. Because then the bloke standing the mark was facing the wrong way.
So
have a look at this.
Okay, here we go.
So it's going, look at the way Longer's facing. Look at Hampson's on the mark as though he's kicking it that way. And then he turns around and gets tackled.
But where is the mark then? Is he in front of the mark when he hits the ball?
Simpson should have had a 50 plate against him.
Exactly.
Robinson, in the meantime, it's bizarre.
That was a debacle.
No, it took so long. It was play on by then.
And then out of it, White gets a free kick. Oh, look at that look from Daniel Merritt.
I'd like to, actually, Daniel Merritt, I'd like to see that again. Whether he took, I think the question here, Doom, is did Merritt take his eyes off the ball when he went back with the fly of the ball? Generally, he's pretty clean when he makes a spoil. But we'll obviously have a look at it after you'd think he kicked the goal here. But it was a free kick against Daniel Merritt coming back with a fly to the ball.
A little bit more breathing space on offer.
Simon White, knee still heavily strapped from that injury early last year. 12-point margin to the Blues.
He certainly didn't like it. He did not. He gave one of the filthiest looks to the umpire afterwards. He's got his eyes on the ball. He's trying to put the fist into where he thinks the ball's going, but the fist did go in low, didn't it?
Yeah, I think his eyes are on the ball, but he hit him in the head. So
Yeah, being a bit kind there. He disguised a punch to the head.
yeah, it's pretty clear.
He's not trying to. Have a look at this stare, though. After this, he glares at. Look at this glare at the umpire. He's just staring him down.
I think it was a definite free kick. He did have his eyes on the ball, but he didn't. He elbowed him in the melon.
What are you guys talking about? He punched him in the head.
Yeah.
From the ball up. Cruiser and Martin. Lucas, Rockcliffe.
Rather ironic, Roosie, that Dermot's having a go at us for a bloke punching someone else in the head.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
You guys,
Carnesis.
mongrels.
A wobbler. Jonathan Brown.
Good body work.
Thought
could have
about
gone.
playing on.
You know what? When you get to a certain age and you realise your skills, your pace, you're reluctant to take those little risks. You say, right, I've got the mark. Don't try and be stupid. I'll go back and kick the goal.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brown 2 years ago would have just gone, I've got it. I've got enough. 2 or 3, pacing my 2 or 3 steps first up. Kick this, but just taking it safe.
To the Blues, Carlton fans pull the margin back to 6 points. It's only March, but this game, September-like quality right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Great body work. I mean, how many times would he have done that over the years? We see 2 champions up there, Judd and Brown, absolute superstars of the game. 6-time All-Australian, 2-time All-Australian, 5-time best and fairest, 3-time best and fairest. And you can see the little body work here. Really nice, just a little nudge, and that's just classic Jonathan Brown, Dermot. He's been doing that over and over again.
Look, the stats that really gets to me, they're staggering that Jonathan Brown's only 2 times All-Australian.
Yeah, here it is. Here you can see it up on the screen. You're right, 2 times All-Australian. You would have said
I'd have given him 6 or 7.
Juddy 6, 5 best and fairest. It's a pretty good effort from Juddy
Just
as
the
well.
5.
So
How many did you
just
win,
the
Ruben?
5. 5. How many did you get?
Not 5. 5's a big number.
I think you got a hat-trick, didn't you?
For 4.
Another 4.
The 5's a big number.
Had a lot of half and 2/3 seasons, Jonathan Brown. That's one of the reasons why, isn't it?
Injuries, yeah.
Injuries and a couple of long reports as well.
But the thing is, he's been the game's best centre-half forward since Carey. And you just assume that they're going to award him the All-Australian post.
Yep. Green. Good fight back this from the Lions.
That should be 50. He never went back at any stage when he said 2 metres.
Cornelius. Fist away by Jamison.
He's a bit non-competitive, Aaron Cornelius, when the ball is not marked above his head.
Tui. Gets under that a little. Casbolt and Merritt.
A bit of a falcon, huh?
Tie off the deck from Arnfield. Walker. Hatful right with him, wearing him. Gibbs. Merritt. Gibbs jumped into him.
Front on. You got to jump out of the way.
Yeah,
Someone turns their head towards you.
Having a good night at the office, Bryce Gibbs. Puts it up in hope. Hampson got hands on it. Redden.
Might have got some head on it too.
Carnesis, handball a little wobbly, made it impossible for handling. Friendly smile from Eddie. All part of the fun.
I did stay the meter.
2.5 minutes to half-time. Almost ball. Judd stole it. Rob McLean back. Lucas. Tough ball to be gathering. Hampson made a good fist of it. Maguire
did well.
Just had to do something, and he did it.
I'll tell you what, because Murphy was just lurking. He'd come from that stoppage by himself. I'm not sure whose direct opponent was, but it was pretty handy for Maguire to get his foot on the ball there, get it out of Murphy's area.
Rich and Judd
Going to Judd.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
umpire says a push.
You can't afford them.
Against Stephen Martin, Matthew Cruiser to line up. Martin had eyes on the ball. He believed he was shepherded out by Cruiser.
Well,
Cruiser propped and stopped him from getting access to the ball.
It was interesting. The umpire said you're allowed to prop under the footy.
Prop but not shepherd.
Well, you are if you keep your eyes on the footy.
Yeah, but if you prop and look backward, that's a shepherd.
20 seconds.
Yep. Well, we'll get a look at it on the replay and make another determination in a second. There's a nice kick of the footy for a big fella.
Absolutely. Margin back to 12 in the shadows of half-time.
They're not boos, you can hear. That's the old cruise when he gets the ball. Carlton fans love him.
Now, he looked over the shoulder there.
And he just ran into his back, didn't he?
He knew where he was coming from, that's for sure. Watch him look over there.
There's the look.
And where's the ball land?
I'm not sure why Martin had to do it, because the ball was going over both their heads.
I think that's a fair free kick.
Yeah, it was poor ruck work by Martin there.
Well, Cruiser had the prop or he would have run under the footy.
Absolutely.
For me, it's play on.
Well, I just think it's poor ruck work, whichever way you look at it, because Martin, the ball was actually going to come to Martin's advantage, and he would have been able to maybe plonk it into one of his midfielders.
They both missed
hands.
it. Just let it play on. They had nil effect on the footy.
Centre clearance is still a domination to the Lions, 11-3.
Judd tries to enter it up. Can't get the handball out. Gibbs does. Arms free. Carazzo scoops it. Yaron. The umpire's called touch ball. Play on. Bounces regardless. Adcock tried the shimmy. Hanley tried to get and go on the turn.
He did that well, Hanley.
Redden to Buick. Brown. Good fist away. Yaron keeps it alive. McLean. Judd. McLean.
Oh, a dart.
And it stays in. Bounces out. Bowling.
It's interesting watching Jonathan Brown lead term.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before. We know he's past his prime. He's had a lot of wear and tear. He's going to he's going to have to come to grips with the fact that he's going to have less impact and get a lot less possession than he used to now. He doesn't have the speed, he doesn't have the strength to jump off the ground as he used to.
And the other thing, Jamison put a big bump into him just as he got to the footy. There's a hole.
Sean Hampson's ball.
These clumsy free kicks from, we've seen three now.
It's killing him. It's costing him a goal every time.
Three, this will be the third goal if he kicks this.
Chris McGuy's going, me?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
This will be the third goal as a result of a clumsy free kick from the Lions player. We've had Martin, we've had Merritt.
He's still got a look of disbelief on his face.
Maguire can't believe it.
I'll come back to Jonathan Brown in a second about revisiting that issue, Jason.
Last shot for the half on the siren. Could have taken all the momentum in at half-time, the Blues. But the Brisbane Lions breathe a sigh of relief. 13 points to margin. It's still the biggest margin that Carlton have had in this game. And if you did join us late in the opening term, Brisbane opened up a 27-point lead. But these two teams in the 2013 NAB Cup Grand Final are taking us down Quality Street. Half-time, Carlton by...
On to Bryce Gibbs' nearest screen now.
Brett Maloney starting on the interchange.
Longer and Cruiser go up. Lucas quick in off the square. Judd held free.
Made sure the umpire saw it too.
And he may be subbed out of this game early. No team has used any of their subs yet. The first game for the season for Judd. He might be subbed out, you'd think, early. Green is off and running. Not a lot to go too long. Carnesis runs to 35. That's splendid.
What a way.
Copybook.
What a way to start the half. It was the turnover on the defensive side of the wing, and it looks like it might have taken its toll, because I think Joel Patfield's got a big limper. He's in a little bit of difficulty behind play, but he's one that just charges through here, affects the spoil. I don't know what happens in the meantime. He goes down, and he was limping when he got up. But then it opened up. Territory to run. They had the numbers, just had to think their way through, and they did it well. And this time, he didn't try to run too quickly, Carnesis. He just steadied himself a little.
Do you notice when the ball got handballed over his head, he recognised he was going to be the third recipient of it? He dug in. He busted a gut to get right on the end of that. This guy's got a big motor.
He's still limping, Patfield. He's in a little bit of difficulty down there.
As I mentioned, neither team has used a sub yet. Brisbane Lions subs Doherty, Beams and Rains.
What do I ask Brucey?
And just for the record, terms, Carlton subs, if you've only just joined us, Curnow, Joseph and Sam Rowe.
That's the right knees favouring Patfield.
Daniel Ricks, free kick being held.
get to you in a second, Rosie. Just a question about interchange after the breaks.
Gee, Rich spanks that in the Brown direction. Thumb clear, Redden. Pops it to the square. It might roll through regardless. It does. And it's a one-point game.
Well, Rosie, as a coach, you sit there and you think, are they ready to go in the second half? They've come out in the space of a minute and a bit, kicked 2 goals to virtually square it up. What a great start for Brisbane.
Yeah, absolutely. Great crumb too. Really good front square. Good hands. And then it's a pretty tidy finish. I mean, obviously you've got to rely on the bounce of the ball, but really nice hands off the pack. Reading Jonathan Brown, 2 defenders to 1 there.
I want to ask you, Rosie, when we see after halftime the big break, when somebody like Maloney runs to the bench, you know how we have so many rotations going on, does he just decide I'm going to the bench, or is it a call by the coach to say you start on the bench for a minute, 3 minutes, whatever it is?
Yeah, a lot of times it's planned, so they discuss it and talk about it, and obviously giving guys rest. And yeah, there's obviously a big focus for tonight's game. We heard from Mick Malthouse before the game. There's a focus on round 1 as well, so we got an eye on round 1 and getting you guys good game time for that round.
Might be planned, doesn't mean they're always happy with it though, Rosie.
Longer towards Digan, Murphy, Lucas, Carlton by a point.
Good lead.
Hampson.
Big free kick count too, 22 to Carlton and 10 to Brisbane Lions.
Merritt and Casbolt, it's been a good battle. Merritt, probably no skin left on his knuckles. Been a good battle from the box as well.
It's very relaxed, Michael Voss, isn't it? Seen him smile, have a laugh on the odd occasion when Billy Longer went the wrong way. He had a good chuckle.
And you see coaches laughing in the box, don't they, James?
White goes up, Patfield with a fist, so he looks okay again.
Big fist too.
Rockcliffe, Carnesis, Green, they've got the speed. Run down by Robinson, got a handball away. Lucas. Crowd enjoying this, and a big crowd it is too. Longer in the hands of trainers. Bad news for Brisbane.
Well, he's busting a gut to try and get back there for this throw-in. They just make it.
Been a bit of talk about this game should have been held at Metricon, but it looks to be a bigger crowd here than Metricon would fit. Metricon only seats 25,000. It looks to be more than that here. The AFL did say it wants to maximise the crowd for the grand final. Little pat on the bum for Jonathan Brown.
He just introduced himself to the advertising boards. That's a big punch, and Billy Longer courageously coming back with the flight of it, cops the brunt.
Cruiser. Murphy. Clever twist and turn, Lucas. And a turnover.
See, that's right.
Adcock can get and go. Goes long to the square. Jonathan Brown, one-on-one. One grab, not the second. Hits the deck. Brown first to pounce. Tackle, Bravo.
Had to be in the back. It had to be.
I thought he was okay.
Played the rules beautifully.
Didn't he? He just kept himself square to the ground so that the contact had to take him forward.
Well, he's 110 kilos. And the message, and I mentioned it at the 5-minute mark of the first quarter, if you tackle from behind this season and you have the slightest momentum shift forward, it's an in the back.
Didn't allow himself to get turned in the tackle.
Well, it would have taken an incredibly strong man to hold Jonathan up there.
Well, it's really impossible to tackle now, isn't it? I mean,
From that
position, you can't make that tackle. You actually have to hold them up, hold a jumper,
or flip them.
Yeah, or turn them. Yeah, absolutely.
This for the lead. He had a car accident. Car knocked him off his bike over summer, and they towed the car away. He just can't keep Jonathan Brown down.
And he's got that trademark salute when he kicks a goal. He just runs up with the arm in the air and the one finger up. This is just the perfect start. That's where he just clips the edge of the synthetic stuff, and
it looked like he rolled an ankle there, but and the good thing there, he actually tried the body up to him. He tried to push back on Jamison because he knows Jamison got him for pace, but that's an impossible tackle to make. Look, you could argue they both dropped to their knees, and Henderson was sort of on the side, but we're seeing already the umpires are going to pay that 9 out of 10.
Got to believe about it. I reckon all those rules should be for protection of the player when you're in real danger. Nobody's ever been in real danger in that position. Anyway, that's for another day.
They're hot right now, the Lions. Bomb to Brown. Martin, 2-on-2. Martin might pounce here. Jamison with him. Martin can't find his toe with it. Behind.
Well, they're doing all the damage again in the centre square. Brisbane just dominating these clearances and takeaways.
Henderson. Listen to the crowd. Fantastic atmosphere. Cruiser on cue takes the mark.
Inside 50s third quarter. Brisbane Lions 5, Carlton 1.
So Rowe is on, so they've used a sub, the Blues. Sam Rowe. What an emotional round one it'll be for him if he makes his AFL debut in round one. Spent 2012 fighting cancer.
It was like
What a
Simon
comeback for him.
Simon White is the man that's being subbed, Dwayne.
There he is. Keep our eyes on Judd. First game for the year for Chris Judd. How long are they going to play him for?
You wouldn't think it'd be too much longer.
Cruiser down to McLean. Merritt in the hole. Robinson didn't bounce kindly. Yo, Adcock, Zorko. Bumped on the kick. Duggan. Gathers and goes.
Good chase.
Perfect pass as well. And here he is, Rowe. He plays for 50 and gets it. Sam Rowe from the goal square.
I reckon he was struggling to pull up with that leg that he was favouring before, Joel Patfield. He just looked a little bit awkward and probably trying to pull up on the mark.
But he actually reaches out for him. It's the softest 50 the world's ever known.
Yeah, I agree.
But he actually reaches out for him. If you're going to do something like that, get value for money. Bury him. Just do something, but just don't buy it. Well, is he suffering from that? No.
Well, I don't think the expectation was he's going to give away 50, otherwise he probably would have buried him. But yeah, it's an interesting one, that one, if we look at it again. But you touched on it, Dwayne. Great story, Sam Rowe. Really good kid too. I had him at Sydney. Really good kid. Probably just one of those boys who just probably wasn't quite ready for the rigours of AFL football. He didn't have a great engine, but he was immature in a sense of a football sense. Really good kid, and so happy for him, and hopefully he does play in round one, because it is a great story and a really good guy.
We have a look at that. That's not 50, but he reached out for him.
Yeah, if he didn't touch him, it's okay, isn't it? It's just that he put the hand on the back.
Terrific substitution. He's been on the ground 4 minutes, Sam Rowe, so a master stroke from the old coach.
Big lump of a lad.
He's a good size.
And he'll fly for it, he'll compete. He's certainly got those good competitive instincts.
Drag down tackle on Murphy. Stop that momentum. Good hunt down by Yo. Pumps it wide to the wing. Scores level here. 66 apiece. It's a hot contest for the 2013 NAB Cup Premiership. Rowe attacks this hard. Tried to slap down Mr. Patfull to Rich. Carnesis.
Well, Green's got away from Yaron if he can get it to him.
Strange kick, but he got away with that.
Hanley.
Now Green's only got Hampson next round.
Spears it.
Nice kick.
Amazing kick to Green.
And it was always on the drop of the footy. If the ball went anywhere near them, it was more than 2 steps away from Hanson. Green was going to get 3 or 4 quick steps in there. He was never going to recover. We see Chris Yaron yelling, cover for me, cover for me. Could not have picked a worse specimen in the physical nature to do the job. There's plenty he's good at, Hampson, but that's not one of them.
Keeps it low, and the Lions are back in front.
He doesn't seem to kick it any further than he has to, Josh Green, but he's very technically correct, and he keeps everything nice and straight.
Probably could have done a better job, though, Hampson, couldn't he? You called on it. He really was sort of one of those ones, I've got him, and no, I haven't really got him, you know. And
Well,
look,
he
the
was expecting
expectation.
a long ball.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I suppose in that case, my point is, you've got to go and you've got to help your mate. You've got to, if he's recognised that Yaron is out of position, he has to take Green and he has to stay with him. That's his obligation as a teammate, and I reckon he had 50-50 each way.
Correct. He was going to be the third man up if they kicked longer Brown, so he was hedging his bets.
Yeah.
Michael Voss inherited Lee Matthews' team, in essence. Are we about to see Michael Voss's team start something big? Redden. Brown attacks it. Henderson had a piece of it. Brown stole it and wins a free. And is this for 9?
Inside.
Just inside the call.
He'll take his time because he can kick it a good journey.
These rules, or the tightening of these rules, your head down, any contact while your head's over the ball to the top of your head is a free kick. Now that's, they've been warned that Brownie's gone down as if he's been shot or blow darted. But these little rules are going to help him in the twilight of his career because he knows the game. He can think his way through these extraordinary little situations.
One of the all-time greats. Co-captain now. Jed Adcock captain with him, but he kicks that like a captain. Oh, baby, that's good. They lead by 12.
I think it's a really good point about the rules, Dan. I think smart players are going to start to recognise those little changes in the rules. We had a discussion with Jeff Geesham the other day about the rules and so forth, and I think the smart players will recognise that's a free kick. It doesn't matter what the rule is because he's got his head going over the ball.
But he was smart enough to stay down.
Yeah, stay down. I think you're right. And I'm not sure the clubs have been aware and probably have practiced it enough.
But where the difficulty is going to come, Ruzi, in that instance, Zach Toohey has virtually got to jump out of the way.
Absolutely.
And what that does then is allows Brown to hand pass it if he wants to, because you can't pressure him from that.
And that's my point
position.
about. I'm not sure the clubs have practiced enough what these slight rule changes have meant to the game in this NAB Cup series.
Martin and Hampson, Rockcliffe for the takeaway.
Another one.
Jonathan Brown on the march again. Over at it, took a big divot. Send the sand bucket out, send out two. Carazzo, little 1-2, Digan to half forward. Merritt overread it. Walker stayed down, surprisingly. Merritt didn't want to get it out, had to. Yo. Rich showing some poise. Zorko. Martin. Adcock can get and go. It's sat for him okay. Zorko. He wants Jonathan Brown. Polkinghorne jumps. Yaron. Kept it alive. Dangerous and wide. Knocked away from Buick. Digan will he seek the line. That'll do. Here's the divot.
Just an explosion of sand here. Look at that. That's a massive divot. Oh.
Take one of those little dingo diggers to fill that in.
Martin. Slung on the kick. Rich is at 15. Umpire says yes.
And for the
Rich
average
is
bloke,
well and truly within range here.
yeah, for the average bloke, you'd be saying, I'll just clear the line. Daniel Rich will go 8-10 metres over it. Just having a look at the stats for this third quarter. Carlton will kick 1 goal, Brisbane Lions 5. All the stats are fairly similar, maybe a bit of a discrepancy inside 50s, 8-3 in favour of Brisbane Lions. But the one area they're really pasting them up on, kicking efficiency. Brisbane Lions 75%, Carlton 47.
Didn't strike it as well as he would have liked to. Yaron. Lucas.
I think the real concern for Mick Moldhouse at the moment would be that Brisbane have had 8 inside 50s this term for 7 scores, 5 of them goals, and that's unlike any defence we've seen Mick be in control of at any stage.
Two-time day, two-time night Premier David King on the boundary line there for us. Free kick out on the full. Walker. Mick Moldhouse. First season at the helm of the Blues.
Oh, brilliant.
And under some pressure now, big time. What a goal this would be. Zorko looks up. He wants it. Can't deliver.
Unloaded for the 9. That would have been huge.
He probably could have summed that up a bit better. I'm not sure.
He could have drawn someone, I think.
Yeah, it was a 2 versus 1 inside 50 with two Lions guys. Yeah.
It was one of those moments, though, wasn't it? You could have made that the biggest moment of the game.
Yeah.
Simpson. Carazzo. Overlooked for the captaincy this week. Signed a long-term deal. Commitment to the club. Cruiser.
He played on.
He did?
I definitely played on. He was
No, he did play
nearly
on.
paid a 50-metre penalty there.
He was going to pay a 50.
Yep.
Pat Fall. Good attack. Judd. Outside of the boot. Puts it in space. Golby. Eddie Betts. Did well there, Golby. Although Eddie nearly made something of it. halfway through this third term. Quarters, full-length terms in this grand final. We're back to 20 minutes plus time on, so roughly 31-minute quarters you're getting in the NAB Cup for the first time. Redden to Brown. Got there. Couldn't bring it in.
Starting to enjoy himself, Browning. Now he's got a few of the majors next to his name.
Inside 50s 9-4 this quarter. Tested first possessions 20-13.
Simpson. Row up.
Oh, that's going to hurt
Yo. It's going to hurt Yo. He's in a lot of pain.
There's
A knee right in the small of the back.
If you look at that
he's
jump
deliberate.
by Rowe in isolation,
I think he's just winning.
he makes no eyes for the ball. He aims this up. See, the hands never go near the footy. He aims that one up.
Walker lines up from outside 50. That was for 9, by the way. Off hands. Through for a behind.
That was half nasty.
Yeah.
I think the best part, Derm, is he's staying out there. It's a great message for your teammates that not only will he put his body on the line, but he's prepared to fight through it now.
He's a good kid. Yeah, he's done some really clever things. And having said what Rowe did as well, I reckon it's fantastic if you want someone to just give a big contest and say, hey, back into my area, you'll pay the price.
And Rowe will do that. He'll jump, he'll compete.
Jonathan Brown knocks it down, but to Lucas. Gibbs. Casbolt. Thumped away by Patfield.
I reckon if we go down after the game, you'll find one mother of an ice pack in the middle of young Yo's back.
Both these teams have 2 weeks to get over this. Don't play next weekend. Of course, the Blues on the Thursday night after against Richmond, their opening game. Patfield reads that well.
You can see all night that the Brisbane Lions defenders have read the ball a lot better than the Carlton forwards. The Carlton forwards are still in that little pattern, Jace, of leading that little lead, whereas the Brisbane Lions defenders are reading the ball off the boot very, very well and intercepting plenty of marks in the game.
That was a spectacular kick from Maguire. A 60-metre kick to the player on the run.
It's 11-3 Brisbane's way in intercept marks, so that just gives you a good indication of how well the Lions are reading the predictability.
Judd puts it in front of Casbolt. Clever kick. Is he good enough? No.
There's another one.
No. Can you believe it? He was on the deck moments ago, writhing in agony, and he plucked that one and gives to Rockcliffe, to Karnesis, and they're away again. Zorko.
Good vision.
Buick. The lead from McGrath. Brown's calling back to the square. Too wide.
See the Brisbane players there, including Jonathan Brown, signalling where they wanted it kicked to. But this is a fantastic effort, knowing that there's someone coming from behind again when you've just been crunched. Focused on the ball and the ball only.
Yeah. But also Casbolt's got to do a much better job of bringing that ball to ground as well. You can't just let a guy mark it like that.
McGrath, the steal post. Bootsma. And doesn't usually kick in, makes a fatal mistake there, foot over the line.
Gets a bit of a decent old sledging as well, doesn't he?
It's probably an underestimated art, isn't it, kicking out from full-back. There's so much pressure on players.
Particularly now you've got less time to do it.
That's right.
Mad scramble here. 20 players around this ball.
You don't just have to be a good kicker, you now have to be an even better decision maker.
That's right.
Yep, right on the line. Not allowed to touch any part of the line as you kick it.
Hockenhorn nearly broke free with it. Cornelius Darce hasn't seen a lot of it tonight. And that's the tail of his night, out on the full. Armfield.
I just feel like Brisbane are 1 goal away here, Dwayne, from breaking this game and breaking the spirits of Carlton.
Although fatigue's got to set in, and it's hard to know who it's going to hit first. Karnesis long. Brown's down there. Henderson. Buick off hands. On the full. longer quarters for the first time. These two teams in the NAB Cup playing quarters that'll run 30 minutes, maybe 30 plus, and still capped rotations in this tonight. Yaron wide. Hatfield seeks the line. Chris Judd, first game for the year.
I saw him, he was having a good chat to the runner before too, so I wonder whether asking him how he was going, how much longer he wants to stay on the field, or saying, Chris, you're not staying on the field too much longer. So you wouldn't think he'd be out there for much longer.
Green goes for it. This is for 9. Hasn't got the carry. Rich, good tackle. And a throw, according to the umpire, free kick. That's how good the tackle was. Armfield. Lucas. McLean. Nick Malthouse style, hugging the boundary. Walker. So now Cruiser up. Oh, he had it a long time. Just not long enough.
Giaconosis is getting around. He drove it inside 50 about 15 seconds ago, and there he was. The relief handball target inside defensive 50.
Patfull, Polkinghorne, Redden, Golby. Redden slaps it down. Longer had to mop up that little mess. Redden back to Golby. They've got some spunk about them, the Lions. Still taking it on at every opportunity. And Jamison seeks the line.
There's Vossi there, obviously concerned about something. But interesting, we saw Cruiser now. It wasn't inside 50, we see Stephen Kernan looking on. It wasn't inside 50, but Carlton have really struggled to mark the ball inside 50. We saw Cruiser drop one on about 55. They've only taken 3 marks inside 50, and we highlighted that before the game. They just don't seem to have at the moment a forward that's capable, as we saw the shot, capable of clunking a couple of marks. Dermott going forward.
Now, with all due respect, there's 2 types of key forwards. There's a key forward who's a big, huge, massive unit who doesn't have to move that far. And then you've got key forwards who can get to the drop of the footy when it's 5-10 metres away from its intended true target. And then you've got the great forwards like Jonathan Brown, who are both. They come along once in a generation. Carlton don't have that. Weight is the closest thing. He's tall enough that he can really compete in the air as that one of those 6'4" plus targets, and he's fleet of foot enough to get to those scatter balls that come in as well. They don't have anything in between tonight.
Well, they're peppering forward Brisbane. They just can't land that killer blow at the moment.
It's 9 scoring shots to 2 this quarter.
It's still only
13 to 7. Yeah, it's
only a couple of kicks out.
Well, particularly with the 9-pointer, because Carlton have already got 2 tonight.
Rowe with a fist from behind. With Crum, Robinson, Cruiser.
Got no one to kick to.
Betts looks up. Lucas feeding for him. He needs to get there. He can go back for 9 here. He marked that outside, surely.
That was a great kick by Eddie Betts, because we all looked up and there was no one inside forward 50.
Hands it off. This is for 9. Walker gets under it. He'd like to be there for the big leap. Hampson gets it. They need a captain's goal. Murphy can't bring it. Hanley caught just in time.
How good was that?
Beams is now on, so they've used one of their subs, the lines.
Cornelius.
So Cornelius is done for the night.
Well, they had enormous trouble getting that substitution made, Dwayne. We saw Michael Voss in the box going spare because Cornelius wouldn't come from the ground.
Gee, that was clever by Merritt.
Yeah,
he missed the ball with the smother, but then he dragged the arm as he went down. Then
He actually made the spoil before that too,
Yeah.
James. So he's had a terrific game.
Rich Carnesis didn't really need to give that to Redden.
That's the type of free kick I'm talking about. All right, you got it wrong. Go through with it. Make him hurt a little bit around the ears.
Hanley.
Not a great kick, that one.
Digan.
One of the few intercept marks, and one of the few times that the Brisbane Lions have gone forward and not at least given the forward advantage with the kick.
Yaron to Gibbs. Walker's out wide. Patfull's with him. 1-on-1, and the boundary line was always going to beat them.
Played another beauty, Joel Patfull. Patfull and Merritt down back.
Yeah, they've been
superb.
Good combination, aren't they? Patfull's just got enough size that he can play on some big units, but enough mobility that he can play on the in-between dangerous-sized forwards.
Good tackle on Maloney. Lucas. Digan. Carazzo. Gets it on the boot. Adcock in the hole.
They've got the answers down back at the moment.
Well, they seem to be now dropping one off because Collingwood, I call them Collingwood, they're playing like Collingwood, but they're so predictable, Carlton. I mentioned before, the Lions just are reading that ball from Carlton midfielders into the forward 50 so much better than the Carlton forwards.
Gee, they were nearly away then if they had hit the target with the handball.
Called no 15.
Good tackle. McLean to Casbold. Got it right on the boundary.
So we're already seeing Piers Hanley back there in the goal square, so the Lions may have released one as the
He's starting on the wing, so he's just playing really
releasing,
negatively in the midfield, just running to the back line first up.
This would be some kick.
And boy, do they need it.
Lucky to hit his boot. Well, I mean, I didn't mean it that way. I mean, but it's the toughest kick.
Oh, OK. Golby might be in a spot of bother there.
Well, he's making a lot more of it was actually in it, but it was a little niggly tactics.
I don't know why you bother. Why would you do that if you're Golby, though? Why would you bother?
You don't know what's happened beforehand.
Yeah, but and you know you're going to get caught. That's the point. You know, there's about 4,000 cameras here tonight, so you know it's just pointless.
Didn't get him in the head.
And all of them in high definition. Have been enjoying the pictures at home. It's been a splendid game to watch. 2 minutes to three-quarter time. And the Lions lead by 14 points. Lucas.
This is that bomb ball that comes in. They've just got to try and find a little bit of short possession out this far and then get over the heavy pack where this ball will form under this ball. There we go.
Hampson, middle of the pack. Carnesis again. And keeps it in. Perfect for Buick to knock it out.
But your point's right, Dermot, but it just highlights the game style again because Yaron's probably the best ball user and best decision maker in the Carlton team, yet he still goes to the bomb ball about 25 metres out.
Looks like another sub about to be made. Andrew Range ready to come on.
Rockcliffe. Martin. Clever.
Not so clever.
No. Judd should cut this off. Rich came at him. Martin steals it back. Arnfield.
So they've got numbers back, Brisbane already. Adcock's in the space.
Lucas puts it up high in hope. Walker can't get the run, still goes up. Maguire. Dangerous, but Zorko, clever pick.
Away here, plenty of space.
Fresh man beams, just on us the sub.
Maloney's run hard.
Great kick.
Yeah, good decision.
McGrath running back to the square. Maloney sees him, puts it in front of him. Green will go for it as well. McGrath in support. Green keeps it alive. Simpson. Bootsma. Turnover. And maybe the last shot of the half to Beams. Three-quarter time looming. 14 points. The Lions lead. They can add to it.
They're seriously primed, Brisbane, aren't they? I mean, they're up for this.
They look a very, very fit side.
With no disrespect to them and where they're sitting in that, they look like they're probably a fortnight ahead in their preparation over Carlton from what we're seeing right now.
For a 20-point margin. Sprays that across the face. Just scrapes in for a behind. Time enough maybe for a turnover, but not, you wouldn't think, for a Carlton score. Carlton's biggest lead tonight, 13 points. Mick Malthouse has a chat to Andrew Walker. Brisbane's biggest lead was 27.
So Range is into the game, and interestingly enough, Carnesis is the one that's being subbed out.
Well, he's run pretty hard. I reckon they probably monitored his workload, and it might do him. He ran beautifully.
Redden needed to bang that forward. But they'd be pretty happy, the Brisbane Lions. Mick Malthouse searching for a premiership, his first pre-season at the helm of the Blues, and they have their work cut out. The Brisbane Lions, away from home, have come to steal this one, and they're on track. 15 points the margin. Brisbane Lions lead. Will Michael Voss be taking home his first premiership as a coach? Last term coming. Handball. Final term underway in the pursuit of the 2013 NAB Cup Premiership. Betts flicks it wide to Lucas. Bounce pass Hanson. To the back, Merritt.
Good pace.
Jeez, been good, hasn't he?
Had an awesome night at the office. Adcock also been good as co-captain. Buick. And they've been fantastic on the counter-attack. Beams. Yaron with the flick away. Zorko with the pace.
What recovery.
Took him on. Couldn't break free. Yaron. Dygan. Almost a mark. And then dragged down. Gibbs. McLean. And a hush falls over Etihad Stadium.
That's a man who knows his limitations. There was no way he was going to play on when most others would.
Walker went up.
It's a big leap.
Already got a contender for Mark of the Year. Took it last week. Tried for another one. Yo's been spectacular as well, talking about
1 metre in the right.
Brisbane's list of solid defenders.
Both holding.
Back into play. Judd. Gibbs. Time to spend it. Oh, spends it very wisely. Post.
Gibbs is one that started the game extremely well. First quarter and a half, probably gone out of it a little bit, but he's one that they'd be really looking for in this last quarter. Murphy, Gibbs, they're the ones that really need to stand up, particularly around the clearances where they've been pretty poor all night, the Blues.
Martin. Redden was in the spot. Little 1-2 works. Full.
Yeah, you're entitled to keep that in play, aren't you?
Yeah, you think so.
Thanks, Chris.
Again, here's Yaron, the creative Yaron, who last year probably would have looked to go inside the corridor near the target. So it'll be interesting to see what he does here. Just straight down the line.
Carazzo. Has bowled up. Little pat was good. Redden can break through with it. Judd. Gibbs on the boot quickly. Martin up. Big piece of it. No mark. Rowe gathers. Is gathered.
Good tackle.
Martin almost. He just got it away in time. Handley. He's away. And now Redden can get and go. Hands it up. Hanley. Short pass. McGrath.
That's the type of play. If that ball's going into Carlton's forward line, everyone runs to the goal square because they know it's going to go within about 20 metres. What happens is you get the blokes closest to the goal line. Brown goes to the goal square. A couple of blokes just stop, prop, dummy lead, come back up at the ball carrier, and it's the easiest reception of a mark you'll ever get.
For a 20-point margin. Gets plenty on it. No.
A couple of opportunities that he's had, Ash McGrath. He's kicked 3 behinds now for the match.
23 scoring shots to, what have we got here? 17.
And don't forget that Carlton got 2 9-pointers, so it's an extra 6 points on a normal game.
Hanley having an influence early here. McGrath gets an opportunity on the run, keeps it low, spears it through.
You've got evidence now of training, playing, that you can run out games right to the end. Right? The games that we've played, we've been going stronger right at the very end. So when you look at your teammates tomorrow and go to war together, you can know that the guy beside you got more capability than what he had last year.
And a big part of that put down to Brett Burton, former Adelaide Crow star, that's come up to Brisbane and he's taken over the fitness regime, and apparently super impressive. Incredible attention to detail.
And it's also just that youth getting the more pre-seasons, you know, you have 2 or 3 pre-seasons. We know probably, I don't know, is it 4, is it 5 or whatever, but you certainly can't do it with 2 or 3. So obviously some of these younger players are just going to naturally get fitter the more they have.
Stephen Martin bangs it inside 50. Jamison. Simpson.
But again, Dermot, you touched on it before, that the kick going into McGrath was a low kick. whereas the other end has been high, long balls all the time. So there's a significant difference in game styles. We see Juddy, and I'm surprised Juddy's still on the ground. Now, whether...
I reckon that's his last effort.
Yeah,
he really pulled up to that slow.
And the danger is, I think from memory, he's coming off a hamstring injury that he did in February. Now, he has been training for a while.
Not only that, he's got a fresh player, Andrew Rains, who was one of the subs that's just come on, looking after him.
It's got better, Stefan.
He's been all right.
Till he gave it to his own man.
Well, he can give it away occasionally.
Patful.
Well weighted.
Adcock, Hanley. And it's got Green long, he goes short. Beams, Rich, he can bang a long ball, goes short, McGrath.
Isn't it
owning this right now?
And I'll tell you what, there's a few defenders of the Blues looking around each other going, who's on McGrath? Because he keeps leading up and no one's on him.
There actually wasn't anyone on him. There was one Blues defender. Look at Mick. Mick's saying the same thing.
Who's on him?
There was actually one Blue defender short.
I think Simpson was going back to try and fill the hole, but then McGrath led up into the biggest corridor you've ever seen.
Had plenty of sighters.
He does kick him low and hard and kind of pull him across his body.
And it bends too far.
He's missed 4 set shots now. The way he kick was on the run.
One thing I'll give him, he is led up at the ball carrier, a hard lead at the ball carrier, which for this style of game is almost a rarity. He's led hard at the ball carrier the last 3 times and he's received 2 of them.
Chris Judd has been subbed out and Ed Curnow has taken his spot.
Well, it's clear to see it happening.
Straight down the middle with the kick in. Cruiser a little toe on it. Maguire wobbles it back inside 50. Henderson, Yaron.
Good pressure.
Dygan. Lucas.
Well, we heard Bossy talking about fitness before, and they do look fit. There's no signs at this stage of Brisbane dropping off with their level of run and attack on the ball.
Polkinghorne pokes it to Zorko. Game on their terms right now. Buick can line up.
Aren't they finding some holes in the forward 50 when they go forward, Brisbane? And it's the smalls that are doing the damage.
But it's interesting, Jace, the defender down the other end of the ground, we're seeing the Brisbane defenders run back to the hole, and we're seeing the same thing with the Carlton defenders. The only problem is down that end, the Brisbane forwards are leading out the ball.
Yeah, the ball's not going to the hole.
The ball's not going to the hole.
Biggest lead so far tonight, 27 points for the Lions. But all of a sudden, it's out to 28.
Yeah, they've honoured the lead 3 times in a row now, going inside forward 50.
I tell you, we've raved about Merritt and also Patful. Maguire hasn't been bad today either. I mean, when we spoke pre-game about their back sixes looking pretty settled, they've been super impressive tonight.
And you can see it was Lockie Henderson. Now, I'm not sure the direct opponent, but Lockie Henderson was the one, when Zorko picked that ball up, he actually started running back to the top of the square, and Zorko once again lowered his eyes and hit a target. And it's a good finish, that.
I think the pleasing thing from Michael Voss's perspective is they're not just automatically kicking it to Jay Brown.
Yeah.
See, they're rolling the dice here, Brisbane. I reckon they're putting an extra one in their forward line.
Rich to Tumbler. Brown couldn't trap it. Gets it out. Simpson barreled out. McGrath got a toe on it. Martin couldn't. McGrath couldn't quite. Redden locked up. The Blues are hanging in there.
I just explained what I meant by they're rolling the dice. They manned up the Carlton backman, so there was no loose man. And then Redden ran around from the wing to be a 7th forward and let his winger stay on the wing, but he became a dangerous person forward. So Carlton then got confusion in who's got him. They've got one extra forward. They win it in the middle, comes forward, they're in the box seat. Gee,
it's interesting. No one's diving on the ball. No one wants to carry a player forward with the tackle. Everyone's being very circumspect about the way they approach the contest. Particularly Carlton there know a free kick would be critical.
25 men around this ball in. So Walker done for the night as well.
Yep.
The Blues have used their 3 subs.
Aaron Joseph, the man on.
So they've rolled the dice now. Yaron flicks it down. Simpson. Murphy can't grab it. Maloney jumped on. Oh, Carlton free kick.
That's a strange one. He just failed to pick the ball up cleanly, Maloney, and fell to ground. And then because he kept rolling, the Carlton players come in and he's got the free kick for contact.
They need a break or two, the Blues now. They're running out of time. Beams.
Got a loose player on Zorko.
Zorko should run in. Open goal. Oh, that's big.
Oh,
He's kicked an 80-metre tall. Is that bloke marked it up the top of the grandstand?
into the top deck.
Top deck.
Well,
I think someone caught up there. But
I did watch it. Chris Yaron was his man who got drawn away with the
here
footy.
he is here.
So he runs away from him and keeps going.
Yeah.
He made one blue, he's made two blues there because he's missed the kick and he kept on running and the guy ran in behind him.
What about the talk from Zorko? He catches this, Rosie.
I'd love to see that guy up in the grandstand. He has launched that. I don't know whether he caught it, but I think the guy in the grandstand's marked it.
Great gather by Beams too.
And look, one of the few times I'd be interested to see Mick Malthouse's expression in the coach's box because Yaron did get the ball and squared it through the middle of the corridor and it went straight back over the head for a goal.
And how strongly are they running out the game?
Yeah, they are. They look
Brisbane.
fit. Yep.
From the ball up, the Blues need one and need it quickly just to stay in this. Rains dragged down. Joseph, fresh man on as the sub. Rich comes up with the... They've got all the run. Maloney, Rich. They are owning this game. Rockcliffe owning the Sherrin.
Yeah, there's that little lead up forward and they've hit that really nicely, particularly in this last quarter.
Zorko to the pocket. Brown is down there. Almost. Tucked away by Henderson to Simpson. The boundary of the
It's
century.
got to be deliberate.
Yeah, you bet.
Nobody within Cooey for Carlton.
Cooey.
I think it was interesting, Dern, before the game. Mick talked about just the pressure going up tonight and just seeing his team under the pressure of a NAB Cup Grand Final on game style. And you can see why he's just still a little bit reluctant to give too much praise to the Blues at the moment. They're still very much adapting to the game style. And you'd have to say at this stage, probably struggled under the pressure that Brisbane have put. They've tried it.
Jonathan Brown floats it from the pocket.
To their credit, the Blues have tried to do, I think, what Mick's implemented, but they've probably overcorrected, which has allowed Merritt and Maguire and Patford and Adcock to continually roll off in defence.
And Brisbane have activated Sam Doherty off the bench, and it's Mitch Colby that has been subbed out.
With that, in respect to that, we're talking about the ball usage inside forward 50. Sometimes if you've got a really good player, he's going to draw the footy. You do go for that, as you say, the overcorrection for the long kick. If you've got a gun forward, like a weight who comes out and strikes a bit of form, he's going to draw the footy on the lead. It's going to make a beautiful change to their forward line. It's going to make a world of difference.
And my apologies, Sam Doherty is the player that's been subbed out.
Rains wrapped up. Going nowhere.
He's in a bit of strife. He's made no attempt.
Holding the ball, Carlton.
It's 11-2 inside 50s this quarter.
That's
so
huge, isn't it?
It's a massive disparity.
Arnfield takes off on Rains. Hampson wants it long. He's in a good spot. Merritt's feeding back. Hampson, Merritt's fist too good.
Spoiled,
Doherty edged out of it. The road hacks it towards goal, but he misses. And misses everything.
Interesting there with Hampson. Just probably not a natural mark, Dermot, but you'd love to see him actually bridge the gap. Here it is here. He should have come towards Merritt and actually been able to body him and taken the space away from Merritt. He allowed Merritt to run back and just body him up. He should have taken Merritt's space, bounced off him, and then moved back into the space where the ball was going to land.
Almost like a bumper car. Put him into the space where the ball's landing.
Exactly.
Well, he's an ex-soccer player. He grew up playing soccer, not naturally playing football all his junior career, and it does sometimes make a big difference. Simpson. Kerno couldn't break free with it. Fresh sub though, flicks it between his legs. Simpson, haven't given up yet. Bootsma. See if Hampson can get this. Merritt right with him again and wins again. Thumps it down to Maloney. Perfection with the fist from Merritt. Redden. Beams.
Over the shoulder.
Over the shoulder. Play on advantage. Past Green. Tui should get it. Does.
Josh, hold.
We're down to 10 minutes. McLean. Gibbs. Time running out for the Blues. Joseph. He wants Cruiser. Feeds back onto it. takes it to the line. David King.
Since half-time, Dwayne, Carlton have gone inside 50 18 times for a return of 1 goal too. I know we've talked about Merritt largely all night, but their back six, their numbers in 2012 reflected the same as the Sydney Swans, but they're unsung because they're youngsters at this stage.
Are we seeing the start of a new Brisbane era? It's only the NAB Cup, yes. But some of these players have only been Michael Voss's players, Michael Voss's selections, Michael Voss's players that he has brought into the game and taught his style. And they have grown. There was only one win between these two teams on the ladder last year. Everybody's been talking up the Blues, but the Lions are making a statement.
Michael Jamieson just jarred his knee, I think. He's coming off now. He was just in a little bit of difficulty after that contest.
Polkinghorne can't mark it. Murphy the crumb. Again into trouble. Longer wrap-up tackle. Lucas Henderson, but no one home. Adcock mops it up.
The number of times the Lions defenders have just beaten them back into that 50, and I think it was Henderson, just a hit and hope.
Just to address Kingy's and where you're going with that, Ruzi, also, when you say in for 1 goal and a bit out of the 18 entries in the second half, it's a lot to do with the personnel, the makeup. And if you've got two big, they're almost ruckman-sized key forwards. Hampson's one of them there on screen now. And you've got Rowe, who's come on in the second half. They're big, powerful men who don't give you a lot of sideways movement. They're not quick hand to foot either, which means that 30% of your forward line is ineffective under real pressure, getting shots away, getting good, accurate, quick shots away at goal under pressure. And personally, I think 2 of those types of blokes in your forward line at once. Add Hampson in as a resting ruckman up there. That's 50% of your forward line. I just don't think you have enough venom or potency at ground level when you have that up there.
Yeah, well, certainly, I think Kingy highlighted before the game, you know, the crummers need to keep the ball in, the bigs need to bring the ball to ground, but if you've got bigs that aren't great on the deck, and the ball's, you know, you've got Merritt down there, and you've got Patfield down there, and you've got Adcock mopping up, you know, it certainly makes it hard to score. To be fair to the forwards also, and we've talked a bit about it, but the delivery, there's one thing sort of bombing it to the top of the square, and there's another thing kicking it to the forwards' advantage. Yeah. Now, Hampson needs it high, out in front, so at least if he doesn't mark it, he's got a chance to get a free kick for chopping the arms.
So is it that row kick at goal, very slow hand to foot. A mid-size Walker or someone slots that every time.
Robinson for a chance to keep this game alive. Sprays it.
Geez, he went hard at it. Just required a little bit of finesse.
Just a dribble along the ground, really.
I don't think Mitch Robinson has got half throttle in his repertoire.
Finesse, not his middle name. 103 to 68.
You're starting to see players really going down with cramp now, Dwayne. We just, you know, it's been a terrific game, a high-standard game, a high-intensity game, but the last sort of 6 or 7 minutes is going to be a real battle for some of these players.
Yes, capped rotations, as we mentioned, can bring extra players off, but they have to stay off for the remainder of the game if you have rotations past your allocated 20. Zorko fooled a few there again. Maloney, Beams. They've had every answer, the Lions. And the last 5 pre-season premiers have gone on to finish top 4 in the home and away season that year. Some great signs here for the Lions. 103 to 68, 35 points the margin with 6 minutes left.
Let's have a look at the Blues' first 4 weeks.
Nothing easy there, Derm.
No, Richmond, well, they've had it over Richmond in round 1 of years gone. Well, they're bound to win one sooner or later, Richmond. And then they've got 3 really, really tough games after that. Get through that month. If they can get through 2-2, they are super well placed.
And they're virtually at full strength tonight. Jarrad Waite not playing, and Jeff Garlett with a funeral he had to go to back home in WA was allowed leave from this game. So very close to full strength, the Blues tonight.
Look, there's a lot of ammunition from this game, though. There'll be some really good vision that he'll be able to show his players over the next fortnight and train for it. Just practice some of the things he wants to get out of out of this game, and some of the things he wants the players to really practice, so it becomes ingrained. At the moment, it's not a natural sort of game style for them, and I don't think it's certainly no disaster by any stretch of the imagination tonight. Brisbane have been really, really good. Their game style, their ball use has been terrific, and Carlton are just still adjusting to a new coach.
Cruiser backs back. Again, too many to beat. The long bomb forward not working. Hanley. Adcock.
This bloke's played a really good game.
Yeah. And gets there on cue. Green started it all off with a splendid goal in the opening term.
I reckon one of the most impressive things that Brisbane's done tonight is the way they've mopped up down back and then spread.
Yeah,
once they've won possession.
They've been going side to side a lot better than Carlton, haven't they?
Yep.
Oh, he's just taking the mickey now.
Well, this may look strange, but taking a minute off the clock here is just as good as taking the last minute off the clock.
Well, particularly with really tired players at the moment, Dwayne, it's a real chance to settle the game down. As long as you don't turn the ball over.
Jonathan Brown, couple to beat.
Falcon.
Zorko takes them on. Longer, who set it all up, started in the ruck, had a good first term. Redden pumps it to Brown!
And that's the difference down the other end with Hampson we talked about before. Jonathan Brown is a natural forward, and he takes the space, he puts the body in early, a young player in Sam Rowe, whereas the Hampson, now Merritt's a lot more experienced than Sam Rowe, but the Hampson-Merritt battle has been about Hampson not being able to put body on and take space. If you look at this one here again, just a quick kick coming in, takes his space and then leans back on the mark. And that's why he's such a great player.
And he drives it home. And he knows the Brisbane Lions
just
are
about
going to win their first pre-season premiership.
He's got a lazy handful, Jonathan Brown.
Yeah.
After a very slow start, he's now got 5 to his name.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoying himself. I enjoy watching him, because he works so hard when he gets the ball. Whenever he gets it, and we see him, he throws it away as soon as he's taken the mark. He then gets up and walks as far away from the mark as he can. He's still got his back to goal when the umpire says 15, Jonathan, 15. And then when it's 20, he starts a slow walk in. I reckon he takes another 15, but because he's in the action of his run-up, you can take as long as you like then.
It's a good return for a bloke who's not in great touch.
Second up.
Will he lift the cup, or will Jed Adcock sharing the captaincy this year? Well, this will taste very, very sweet for the Brisbane Lions and Michael Voss. Zorko pumps it along to full forward. Getting back. Good mark taken by Jamison. He hasn't stopped trying, but he's had a tough night at the office. Simpson. Siren can't come quick enough for the Blues now. Straight through Carazzo. Doherty, his first touch.
One of our old teammates, Michael Tuck. His medals coming up. Jason?
Gee, there's a few contenders, I reckon.
There is. Brown's 5. I think Rich has been really steady all night.
Malone's probably faded in the last term. He played very, very good. But any of the defenders,
Adcock's had a terrific game. Merritt's had a terrific game. Patfull's had a terrific. Defensively, they've been outstanding.
And Karnesis would have been in the running had he not been subbed out.
Pierce Hanley's played a great game. Picked up plenty of possession.
Yeah.
Well, OK, you've had 2 bob each way. Who are you going for?
Oh, about 10 of them.
Merritt, been good.
I'll go Rich.
Martin.
I've loved the game of Merritt. I'd go Merritt.
Oh, now you sound like Spud.
Yeah, it's not often I go for a defender to him, you know that.
You got the golden fist.
Buick wide. They are playing with the Blues right now. Polkinghorne to the square. Green! Almost the third grab. McGrath from the line. Joseph. Kane Lucas. He's got no one to go to. Runs himself into trouble.
Oh, is that deliberate?
I think it was accidental.
Only because it looked like a miscue half mongrel. They've let him away with that. Watch this, he almost misses his foot.
He potted another bloke earlier for that.
Yeah, but I was just mucking around. He can actually kick it. Caswell's a monster kick. I just didn't think he was going to get near it.
Curnow again. Cruiser stolen from him. Zorko threw it away.
I've liked his game again, Dane Zorko. He's a genuine footballer.
He could develop into a really, really good footballer.
Yep.
He's got really good speed. He uses the ball well. He's a good kick, smart.
Had to wait for his turn. 24 years of age this year, Dane Zorko. Fist from Maguire, and again, they had a player down for Adcock.
But again, just not a kick to advantage. It was extremely difficult for Roda to mark that football.
Squeezed wide and on cue.
Bit of cramp setting in.
He's been very, very good, Zorko.
Coming up for possession number 23. He's kicked a couple of goals.
He'd be close to it as well. 23 possessions, 2 goals. He's been extremely consistent.
Big reward for some of these young players as well. You play footy for the big moments, and this is a big moment.
Yeah.
This is the biggest moment of the careers of many of these players at the Brisbane Lions.
You're right, and I look forward to the reaction when the final siren goes, just to how they respond to what they've achieved tonight.
Yeah.
And they've really performed. They have performed above themselves, some of them. It's been splendid to watch them grow. And they have dominated this game, 109 to 68. In the end, they've demolished the Blues, virtually a full-strength Blues. Judd's had a sit-down, Walker's having a sit-down, and you've got to admire the Brisbane Lions pluck tonight.
Yeah, Bossy would be very happy, very pleased with the way his team played. And I think it's going to go back to Zorko. I'm going to go with him, Derm. He's had 24 disposals, 7 contested, 8 marks, 5 tackles, 9 inside 50s and 2 goals.
Mick Malthouse must hate the look of Michael Voss in grand finals. Vossi's lifted the cup 3 times, but all as a player. He's going to lift it for the first time as a coach. Hawkinghorn takes it out. In some ways, the legend of Michael Voss continues. He was under pressure to prove himself as the coach for a couple of seasons when they were on the skids. They might be on the rise again, the Lions. Yarran, wrapped up by Zorko. Colonel, McLean, Rockcliffe wrapped him up. Doherty got it off. To Zorko again.
He's powerful through the hips, Zorko, isn't he? He got dragged off that kick, and he's still got a really good thump into it.
Coming off with cramp now.
Listen to that round of applause for Michael Voss. The legend continues. Armfield.
Oh, catch that.
Merritt. Fist. Patful, they're all spent.
That was just the old Gary Owen, that last kick going forward. He couldn't have kicked it any higher if he tried.
But they're going to rise as one here, the Lions.
20 spoils to Daniel Merritt.
He should have marked a few.
Fitzroy won 2 pre-season night premierships, but the Brisbane Lions win their first pre-season premiership. And for the 3-time premiership captain, Michael Voss, it's a first flag as a coach. Last kick of the game, Mitch Robinson, but it's incidental. The Brisbane Lions made a statement. And are we witnessing the birth of something big?
Oh, what a brilliant match it was. They deserve everything they've got tonight, the Brisbane Lions. And I think you called it earlier there in the first half. Daniel Rich dominated the game. He was the one that gave them the drive through the middle of the ground. And
he works very well with Maloney. To be on the side of Maloney, Maloney's a powerhouse workhorse, and if Rich can just cruise past him. Rich has had 9 clearances, Roosie, and Maloney's had 11, so 20 between the 2 of them. And then Rich is, I mean, that goal he kicked in the to the right-hand side of the screen, that was just devastating off 2 or 3 steps.
There's a lot to like about the Lions. They played extremely well. And as I said in the call, I don't think that the Blues have lost a lot. I mean, you got a new coach, and they've played against a team that's played extremely well.
Let's go down to David King, who's caught up with the 5 goals.